John, thanks for coming on today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, it is recording here. Just double checking. So I'll give you a quick introduction. So you're a former University of Hartford player. So it's a Division One NCAA college in America. You finished up last year, and you came back and you played a year of professional basketball, which we're going to a bit later on. I guess because I like talking about the journey and stuff, and I did a little bit of research on this. It'd be nice to go back to the start. When you first started playing, there was an article I read from the 42 that had quite a lot of details. So I kind of spoiled it for myself today a little bit by reading it, because I quite like going in kind of almost like the person who's listening, not knowing too much, so that I'm kind of actually getting a live reaction situation. But anyway, so you started off. You're from Holt. I read that bit. So
yeah,
lovely part of the world. I actually love Holt. And Skerry's
pretty nice,
really nice up there. Yeah, so you kind of grew up in Holt, and you went to. Did you play in primary school? Like, did you actually play basketball?
I think we had a team technically, but it wasn't any great shakes. Like, we played like a game or two a year, not a lot of practice. You know, it wasn't anything big. I had a basketball hoop in my back garden. That was about the height of it.
All right, and I read your dad played, and he was back in the day.
Yeah, he played at Colester for a while. He was on that team with Mario Ellie.
Right.
I think he played with Calvin Troy, or he played against him, but he was in that era, like that really competitive era. So that's why that's what I knew about basketball in the beginning, you know, just that my dad played. I think I started playing when I was 12, when I got to secondary school. So
okay. And did you remember seeing your dad playing any of those games?
I think I remember one game and he like broke his nose, and that was the only one I remember. I remember blood everywhere.
And did you still want to play basketball after that?
No, I don't think I played much. I don't think I played. I was big into soccer and tennis and or football, I should say, and golf. So I was playing that up until I went to secondary.
Okay.
And then I played rugby in secondary because we didn't have basketball. But so I started in first year, played rugby in school, and then basketball outside of school.
That's crazy that you didn't have basketball. I read that part and I was like, that's crazy that you didn't have basketball in secondary school. I mean, some schools are like that. I went to a school that had a basketball team, but the primary focus of our team, because it was a country school, was Gaelic, and they had I think we had 29 Leinster championships for football, which is a big deal even in schools football. So the focus really wasn't on basketball, but the fact that you didn't have any basketball in school is kind of crazy.
Yeah, we just played rugby. We were big into rugby, even though we weren't particularly good. But everyone played rugby, and then I think there was a bit of tennis and cricket, but they were the three sports. Basketball was not an option.
Not an option. So how did you get involved with Cubs? Because the reason I'm asking is because I'm pretty sure, again, fact check, and I don't fact check all this stuff, but Owen Chubb, who I know fairly well, started the club. Is that right?
He was involved in the founding of it, but I think Vinnie Green was the main founder of it, David Green's dad.
Okay.
But he saw me. I think I was crossing the tracks. I was playing golf, and in Sutton Golf Club, you have to cross the tracks from the second to the third hole, and he saw me walking, and I don't know. He approached me about playing basketball. I think I was trying to join Colester, but they wouldn't return my calls. So Cubs got me. Yeah, Cubs got me when I was 12, and that's when I started playing with like Gary Barron and Conor McCracken, those guys, Greg Campion.
Right, yeah. And you're saying it was Owen that caught you coming across the railway
No,
tracks?
that was Vinnie Green. Vinnie Green. Owen was my coach.
What have you got?
All my time at Cubs.
Okay. What have you got to say about Owen? He was actually a nice little player. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he was a really good player, and he's a really good coach too. He was good for me because I was playing the 3. He had me playing the 3, even though I was the tallest on the team.
Okay.
And I think Ross McCann was the 5, Conor McCracken the 4, and helped me develop my game. You know, that was good for me.
At that point, you're like under 16, under 14?
Yeah, I stayed here till I was under 16.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
and
we won under 14 all around, and then we lost in the final under 16.
yeah, because I remember what year was that actually? Is that 2000?
2011, I think, for under
2011.
16.
2011.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I came back for year 2008 and I coached at the Cubs camp. Just
Oh
when I
yeah,
was back from Germany, basically, I came back, coached at the camp, and spent the summer hanging out with Owen. So
yeah,
you maybe even called. There's a bunch of young lads came around to the house, and he was saying, "Oh, this guy's good. These young guys are good."
yeah. I was definitely at the camp. I don't know if I was good at that time though.
Yeah, I suppose you're a lot younger, like, but we could have even crossed paths, but obviously wouldn't. You're a lot younger then, so you wouldn't remember. Okay, that's really interesting. It's one of those clubs. It's quite a new club as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is very nice court there too, and
It is
yeah,
actually.
we had good youth teams then for sure.
Yeah, I remember Owen talking about the younger teams being very good, and actually, then I think they got to the senior team got to the Super League. Then
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and I think that team that I left when I left, they won the National Cup. I think they're only under 18, so they were really good. Owen coached that team as well. So
and they're still going. I don't mean to focus on the Cubs, but I'm just interested now. Are they actually still going? To
I don't think they had National League or anything last year. They have all the youth teams, obviously, but I think they had a Division One team only.
okay, I could probably find this out in my
But
own
don't quote me on
time.
that. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Okay, right, fair enough. Yeah, I must catch up with Owen because I kind of hit him up before I was moving back home last year, and I just never caught up with him. But interesting to see that you just came from Cubs because I kind of coached that camp that summer.
Hmm.
And there was some good
Yeah,
underage players there. I know, and you're
yeah,
right. Owen is a really good coach for such a young guy. He's quite really good with like organizing all the camps and kind of the club. Like he was quite young.
yeah. He was showing me like Villanova sets when I was like 16, and sort of introduced me to that strategic side of the game. So that was a good education at that
I was
age.
I was gonna say like a lot of guys they wouldn't get that, but because he was so into the game and he was so passionate about it,
Yeah,
it kind of rubs
he's
off.
definitely overqualified for under 16 Irish basketball.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. He's really into it. Okay, cool. So at that point, then the next part that I read was that you received a scholarship based on your sporting achievements with. It sounds like it's with Cubs, right? And then you got a bursary, and then incredibly, I would say, use this money at the tender age of 15 or 16 to go and visit a camp that you saw on the internet on YouTube, which is IMG. Is that right? Have I got that started?
Well, I got the scholarship from my school in town, CUS. It was
Okay,
a Ronnie Delaney scholarship named after the marathon runner who won the 1956 Olympics gold.
cool.
So I had to do an interview for that and all that. And then I won it. I didn't think I was going to win it. There was a good cricket player against me, but I ended up winning it. And so, yeah, I saw the IMG camp online, and I saw they trained NBA players there and all that. So I went there for 3 weeks. They gave me an extra week free, and then they offered me a big scholarship to go there. Not a full scholarship, but a pretty big one. I'm not sure how much it was. I forget. So then I
Wow.
was like really keen on going there. For that was for my junior year, going into my junior year, which would be fifth year here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very impressive that at that age you're willing because a lot of people wouldn't. I mean, obviously, if you're into basketball and you see the camp, and did you do this without any kind of like? So you found this online and kind of went, I want to go there because there's some good players there. Was there?
yeah. I think I was just looking up like workouts to do, and I
Yeah,
kept seeing IMG. And this is before IMG was like the biggest high school in America. It was big then, but it wasn't that big. And so I was like, yeah, well, I looked up camps and it was quite expensive. So that's where the scholarship was handy.
yeah, because
So
couldn't
yeah, I
ask your
went
parents
and
for that
did
money,
that.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have gone over quite as well, you know.
No.
So
Wow, that's I think for me that's very impressive. Just because you were so young and the fact that you took the initiative, I guess, because you had the money and the opportunity was there, and you kind of really wanted to go. You just thought you loved it, so why not?
yeah, going there for school was a little more intimidating, but it was fun though. We just played, you know, woke up at 6 every morning, did conditioning, went to school at 7:30
Every day.
until like 1. Yeah, well, every weekday, and then ate lunch, lifted for an hour, then practiced for 2.5 hours. That was your every day during the week.
And you're like 16 now, so is that
Yeah,
right? 15,
16,
16, just turned 16 or
16.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I suppose at that age you're starting to get more physically developed. How tall are you now at this point? Because I read that you had a growth spurt, which is always
Yeah.
important.
I was then I was 6'6". Right now I'm 6'8". And then I think I grew from like age 14 to 15, somewhere around there.
Okay, so you kind of had that.
Yeah, I remember I was tall under 16 when I played for the Irish team under 16 as well. When we went to the Euros. I was like 6'6" then, so I
Okay,
think my growth spurt was like 14 to 15, grow like 5 inches.
okay. And at that point, you playing the four on the Irish team as a 6'6" guy, or are you playing the three, or are you playing
I was probably like sort of the
five?
4 or 5, yeah,
Okay,
type thing.
yeah. And was there any other guys? Like, did you have any other big guys on the team, like a 6'8" or you is just kind of
No,
your
no, I was
tallest?
the tallest.
Tallest, yeah.
We had the Quins were on that team.
Ah,
Um, Paddy Lyons, Kev O'Hanlon.
okay.
We weren't the best team, but we had talent, but we just didn't get a lot of wins, unfortunately.
Yeah, Skippy's tough. I mean,
Jason Carr,
okay,
beast.
okay, cool. So then you get your 16. I had a look at the camp, by the way. Just they had the kind of like the tour of the campus, and all I can say is the facilities are ridiculous. I mean, I've never seen
Hmm.
anything like it. It was unbelievable, and they have all the
Yeah, it was unreal.
sports. Yeah, I mean, I would actually like if anyone should just go on and just look at the video. They do a kind of a campus tour, and the facilities are like better than probably even some colleges, I'd say.
Yeah, they were better than my college.
They
Like,
really, yeah,
yeah, we had 4 full-size NBA courts. Like the weight room's unreal.
yeah.
Like
So that,
all the pre-draft NFL people came in. Like it was really
high level
peak of
stuff.
my facilities anyway.
Yeah, facilities wise, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I just saw the video. I was like, my goodness. And now I can see why you kind of were like, I think I want to go there. And when I saw the
Yeah,
video,
exactly.
I kind of made sense. I was like, yeah, I probably feel the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, so at that school, then you go over there. So at that point, the guys you're competing with, you've had a bit of international experience. You've obviously played with some players at a high level there. At that point, are you still looking kind of playing the four? And then what was the competition like when you arrived? And did you kind of feel out of your depth straight away? Or did you feel like, I could probably compete with these guys if it give me a year or two? Or how did you feel about it?
Uh, well, there was like really good players there. I was on the varsity team, but there was a post grad team there, like guys going to Louisville, um, Oklahoma State, like high majors, Auburn. And then on my team, I played with a guy named Daxter Miles, who's in the G League right now, who's like very, very good. And then I was with another big man who played D1. He ended up at St. Bonaventure. But yeah, there was a bit of adjustment. I was playing the four there, and like the athleticism was crazy. The difference, like even compared to playing in the Euros,
Yeah.
just like the guys are really athletic, like staying in front of guards, just like a whole different deal.
Yeah. I
The
understand.
just the guards are just a crazy level, and yeah, it got me prepared for like college and that just practicing every day. Like you're not used to that, especially coming from around, you
Right.
know,
Yeah,
where you go
that's
like 2, 3 times a week max.
right. Yeah,
So
yeah. In Cubs, you're not going every day in Cubs getting up at 6.
no, no,
So, yeah, that's good. I suppose it kind of conditioned you in a way for the step up then to college then when you went over there.
hmm
Okay.
yeah,
And it sounds like the competition was high. Is like just based on some of the places you mentioned
yeah,
there that the guys went.
yeah. My senior year at IMG, I was on the post grad team then, because that was a better team, and I think there was like 25 guys, and there was 13 D1 players. So it
Unbelievable.
was just, yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
um, so the I know you went to a place called, this is the prep school that you went to after
Yeah,
that.
the Hill School. Yeah.
Yeah, and how did that come about? Like, so you're kind of finishing up at IMG. You've done how many years? You did 2 years there, did
2 years. Yeah. So I had some like injury things at IMG. I think I had a bad ankle sprain. I had a couple of concussions, and I had a couple D1 offers, and then they got stripped away for whatever reason. And so then I was looking for a place, and I was talking to Paul Cummins actually about it,
you? Ah,
and he
oh, okay.
was saying he would put me in contact with a couple of people, and I went to his camp, and then I talked to a coach there who put me in contact with a prep school coach, and that's the prep school I was talking to Coach Alberg at Hill, and I loved it there. It's a great place. Yeah,
Yes. So that actually came about via SDA because I was trying to see where that
yeah,
fitted into the story because I know that was part of your journey. Um,
yeah. It was Pete Schwethelm introduced me to or set up the connection to Coach Alberg and or Pat Price as well. I think was involved.
okay.
A lot of people involved behind the scenes. I didn't realize, but yeah. So that was
Wow,
it.
that's
And at the
incredible.
Hill, I think we won the state championship there and the Maple. We were the only team in history to do that, and that was like 110 years. So that was great.
Wow. And you were just there for
Yeah,
that 1 year then, just for in.
yeah. It was just a post grad there.
Okay, right. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so everyone there is what? You're 17, 18.
No, at Hills like ninth through 12th grades, and then there was like 25 post grad, so it was like 14 through 19 basically.
Okay. Okay.
Very preppy, like high academics.
Right.
Very different to IMG where everyone plays a sport. Like
Right. Okay.
everyone at
So,
Hill's going for school, and then a couple guys are taking sport very,
right.
very seriously.
Very seriously. Right. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So, and then I think you were saying that the level of the guys in there were pretty strong as well. I mean, you said you won
Yeah,
state championship.
we had a really good, but we were a very good team too. Like we were old. We had a guy who played college baseball, college soccer, quarterback at Stonehill, like another guy who went to Hamilton D3, another guy who played D1 basketball, another guy who played D3. Like there was like we had a really good team, and we beat some good guys. Like we beat a guy who plays for the Warriors now, Shiok or something. He played at Virginia, and then we
Yeah.
beat West Town, who had that Papa Giannis guy, the Greek guy who was a lottery pick.
Yeah. I know you're
So
talking
yeah,
about.
we beat a lot of Terry Laria. He went to UConn. Like we beat a lot of good teams to
To
win
get
that.
through there. So you
Yeah,
probably developed a lot in that year then, obviously.
yeah, definitely. It was sort of like we had a good team, but there wasn't 13 D1 guys at the same time. So it was like I had an opportunity to shoot more. I shot a lot that year.
You shot a
No
lot
one
more.
will dispute that. But yeah, so that was good for me for my D1 prospects anyway.
Yeah, it probably provided you a bit more of a platform to if you've got
Hmm.
what is it, 13 guys going Division One. It's yeah, there's not as many shots going around, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of a
Even
team.
though there's two teams, but like seven per team, you know, not a lot of
Yeah.
shots.
But yeah, it's just interesting that Paul was able to help. He seems to be very good at. How did you even get in contact with Paul? I mean, did you someone say to get in contact with Paul, or did you just know
I,
Paul?
I think my mum got an email from Paul, like sending things out about camp, and then my mum contacted him. I met him in the arena, and I talked to him for an hour about stuff. And he was good because he sort of went through the same sort of process as me. Went to school for 2 years, then went to a prep school. So our journey sort of mirrored each other in a way. So he was a good person to, ask
Yeah,
stuff
it's
to
good to
go.
have that. Yeah, it was interesting because I did a podcast with Michael Bree. I thought he was the first guy to go D1. He was actually the third. There was two guys before him, but
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, and
That was
Michael
impressive. I
said,
didn't know that either.
yeah, yeah, and there was actually two guys before him, and I looked those guys up, and I was trying to find them. One of them is now a coach. He's a very tall guy. He's like near 7 foot, and he
Mm.
stayed in America, and he's now coaching some. I think it's like a girls' team in New York. Anyway, so Michael Bree was saying that there was nobody really there for him to talk to. So that when there was the chips are inevitably down because you're struggling to get minutes or whatever it is. then
Hmm.
he didn't really have anyone to turn around to and be like, what do I do? Or whatever situations he was in, he didn't have a lot of people there, which is, if you're the trailblazer, I suppose that's just the way it is, right? You just have to figure it
Yeah.
out. So it was
Yeah,
nice
that's
to,
true.
so yeah, it was nice to have Paul there, and he's very helpful. I mean, just even came on the podcast and then gave me about 6 or 7 people to talk to. So he's definitely a very generous kind of guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. So then after that, yeah, one of the questions I want to ask you. So like at this point, you're playing against some really top level talent. There, a lot of guys. They said they went to D1. Kind of, was there a point at which you realized that you like? When did you realize you were able to hang with these guys and that like I could play against these guys? And was it when you were playing against the kind of the 12 D1 guys? I mean, at that point, you probably must have realized then you're playing every day with them at training, so you're kind of competing with these guys,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, yeah, IMG, I was playing well. I just got unlucky injury
Yeah,
wise my senior year and just couldn't make it up fast enough, basically.
yeah,
So I knew I was good enough and I just needed another year.
and a bit of
So yeah, once
exposure.
I went to Hill and they played all, but I knew like I was a year older and I'd worked out a lot that summer and like I was better than I was in IMG. So I wasn't
Yeah,
really, I knew I was going to go somewhere decent. So
yeah, yeah. An extra year to mature, and if you're not injured, then you're going to play more just naturally. And
yeah, exactly.
okay, nice. Um, so then after that, the next step looks like it's you went to uni at Hartford. Was there other options you considered? Because I think I read that you kind of had a lot more options when you came out of Hill. You got a ton of offers versus what you had previously. So was there other options, and did you kind of was there anyone that was a close second?
Yeah, I took 3 visits. I went to
Okay,
Columbia, I went to Hartford, and then I went to Binghamton. And
okay,
those were my top three. I had like 15 or 20 offers, like through different circumstances. Like one team offered me by text. I'd never even talked to them in my life, but I don't remember who that
text.
was. But yeah, so I was everyone at Hill wanted me to go to Columbia because it's
That's what I
Ivy
was going to say.
League, and
Yeah, it's Ivy League. It's
yeah, yeah. And I really liked Columbia, but I was just sort of won over by my coach at Hartford, Coach Gal. He had a very good future, and I basically made a very good outlook, like in the program and stuff, and seemed like a guy I wanted to play for. But
yeah,
I basically just made a decision. Like I came over to play at the highest level and do the most in a college basketball career I could. And I felt like Hartford was probably the best place for that. But
yeah.
Columbia was a close second for sure. I was looking at other, I can't even remember now, but like other Ivy leagues and stuff like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. There's
mainly that sort of level.
okay, right, yeah, because Columbia's yeah, it's pretty prestigious in terms, especially academically. Like,
Yeah, and they were good at basketball too. They were very good. Kyle Smith was there. I think he's at San Francisco now,
yeah,
and I really
okay,
like those coaches. But yeah, I just liked Hartford a little more.
yeah. I think I read something like he came over to Ireland and met your family or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, Coach Gal. Yeah, he had some trip over. He was out
That's
in the bar with my dad all night, and then had to get up for a walk around the Hill House with my mum at 7 a.m. So
right, yeah.
he earned it.
He earned it, yeah. And actually, it's funny because when they said this to somebody else as well, but when the coach really wants, when the coach is really keen like that, and kind of it comes off genuinely wants you to be there and tells you that you will have a role in the team or whatever it is, um, that that influences you a lot more when they're actually genuine and they make an effort like that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So you were there then for your first year. So how did it go in your first year? So I mean, you're arriving in, um, you've already kind of done the kind of getting up at 6 every morning. You're coming into a college program. What did you think of the team when you arrived? Were you impressed with the level of the guys, and how did you feel about that in terms of you fitting in?
The team was really good. They'd come back off like they'd won 17 games in their previous 2 seasons, and they had or six seniors.
Okay.
So they were very like established. And Mark Wakama, who I was playing behind, was like first team all conference guy last 2 years. So he was really good, you know, mentoring wise and just watching play and like and then so I was like sixth man, sort of seventh man my first year. Probably I was playing like 15 minutes a game, which is decent. I probably would have been like 20 if I wasn't fouling so much. I had a problem with fouling.
Yeah, I had the
Uh,
same problem. Realize just
yeah, rid of it. I don't know. I figured it's best way to stay on the floor. It's not foul, but yeah. And then our team just had some injury issues throughout the year. Mark got hurt, Wes got hurt, all these seniors, and so we sort of had a bit of a down year. We were like just under 500,
Okay.
but it's definitely a learning experience. College basketball a lot different to prep, and even IMG, like the standard, just the structure was a lot different. Like the preparation, you really need to prep for every game.
Yeah,
So
there's a
that was
lot.
an education.
So you're doing a lot more watching film for in terms of scouting the team.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw a video of the coach, and I actually you were in the video. I think he was coaching. Oh. He's very like he doesn't beat around
Animated.
the bush. Animated.
Oh yeah.
Very animated. I don't know if he's intense. Like he's not in a bad way. You know what I mean? He's kind of very
energetic.
Very energetic. Says exactly what he's thinking. Doesn't beat around the bush with the players. It was quite impressive. He was telling the guy stop telegraphing a pass. He was just like the guy was just throwing it, and he was like, "Be creative with your pass or something." And the guy was just, he just was very direct. It was good to see. He was being quite honest. He seemed to stop.
He's definitely a player's coach for sure, and he's big on the details of like footwork, and we had a very specific offense with like player spots, and no, he's very good detail coach.
The line is
good. It's good sort of disciplinarian. He definitely wasn't that.
Yeah, no, you don't want that. No, the line broke there for a second. Sorry, it's back now. Yeah, no, I was just impressed with just the clip I saw of him. I think you were actually in it. But yeah, he looked to be getting the team into shape, and they seem to respect him. So he seemed like a good guy to learn from. So your second year, I read that you got an injury, and it was, I don't know how long you were out for in that particular span of the year, but was it your knee? Was it?
Yeah, I tore my ACL my fifth game.
Fifth game.
Right. Fifth game. I think I was playing Niagara. It's probably my best game of my career to that date, and then I just tore it, non-contact injury on a rebound or something.
Oof.
And so that was a bit of a pain. So I missed the rest of the season. Got a red shirt year, which was good.
Okay.
In a sense. But yeah, so I think it was 5 games in. So yeah, that was a bit of a blow.
Shit, yeah, that's not fun. And did you, if you were able to recover then, because who was I talking to? Jordan Blount kind of did a knee injury. I don't know if it was an ACL. I can't remember now.
But yeah, I think he did. He came back a lot sooner than I did. It's pretty impressive.
I think he came back a bit. He said, well, I mean, he said he was fine, and you kind of know your own body, right? But he said like he felt like he could have maybe waited a bit longer, but he just felt like physically he was fine, so he just started going back out playing. You kind of know yourself.
Yeah, I came back after like 9-10 months, and I probably should have taken a full year because I wanted to get in before the season. Yeah, I ended up playing like the first game my redshirt sophomore year, so my third year. Yeah. And I probably should have waited till conference play in January. And that it sort of affected that year for me. Like I wasn't moving well. I was wearing a big knee brace. Okay, if I had to do it again, that's what I would have done.
So you kind of prematurely came back a little bit, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's hard to know because, and the other thing is, it's very tough to start into another season because I did one injury I had was I broke my leg, and very tough to start another season and not want to at least play. It's very tough to
Yeah,
just sit there
exactly.
with an injury. So I totally appreciate that. Okay, so you kind of, yeah, that's fair. I mean, does it still like have stiffness, or is it like kind of gone now, or is it one of these injuries that like still has some?
Well, I got surgery on my knee uh, December 27th last year, 2019, just for cartilage damage. But that, like ACL wise, it's all fine. But just I had a bit of that issue above the knee
Yeah,
now, so I guess that's the same knee, but it's a different sort of issue, not as serious.
yeah. Well, if the one thing basketball does is f your knees up,
Yeah.
you just have to just keep working on it. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So then after that, then you did 2 more years, and it looked like you started to, well, just from what I've read, you kind of like started to thrive a little bit more, get more of a role, and kind of. I mean, I saw one game there. You had like a 22-point game, and you hit the free throws to I think to close off the game and stuff. So you're at that point, you're kind of you're a junior or you're a senior, and then you're kind of getting a lot more minutes. And do you want to talk about
Mhm.
that? Like, just how did you kind of break into that role then? After, did the seniors just kind of leave and it kind of naturally happened? Is that kind of the way it goes?
No, like I was ready sort of to do that. I felt my sophomore year, then I got hurt.
Yeah, of course.
Uh, and then the next year, I was trying to play too. Like I actually was getting a lot of minutes before, but it's
Okay.
just I wasn't very good. So I basically got better over summer. I remember the summer before my junior year, I actually I played with the Irish team with Coach Strickland. Uh, yeah, was that summer? Yeah, that was that summer. And I worked out with them, and then I was working out at home. I remember I put my phone in a box for like 2 months, no social media, and I went to Greendale to Cubs every morning, worked out, got the train back, lifted, took a break for 3 hours, and then I'd go back to Greendale shoot. That was like 6 days a week. So I just completely rededicated myself to playing. And then
Okay.
it worked out pretty well. I think my first game back, I had 26 points
Nice.
against
Right. Okay.
CCSU in our rival game. So, and then I did pretty well from there. I think I was second team all conference that year and the next year. So it wasn't really
Okay.
more opportunity. It was just more,
Putting the work in.
taking advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it seems really obvious, like, but it's only until you kind of really push yourself in terms of like getting the training in every day and stuff like that. The fact that you dedicated yourself for the summer clearly paid off, and then you're like, okay, that's obviously what I need to do to improve. You just have to spend the summer working at it and getting better. Was there anyone you did you just go down and do your own thing? Was there like someone who was helping coach you during the summer, like to help train you, or are you just doing it
Uh,
yourself?
I would I would go on my own for like I'd work myself out in the mornings. I'd lift in a gym in Hoth, Tone to Fit, and then in when I was shooting in the evening, my dad would rebound for me. So I'd usually get like 250 makes up uh, a day. I'd try and hit that number, and I'd just be looking up drills online. I was looking up drills with like I'd found Drew Hanlon, who's a really good like shooting coach,
I know
and I
you're
actually
doing.
ended up working out with him for the last 2 summers.
How did
So
you, because I don't know where I saw the clip, yeah. How did you end up, did you just reach out to him and just say hey, or how did that happen?
no, I got a connection through someone at ESPN because ESPN's down the road in Hartford,
Cool.
and I got a connection through someone I know. Let's just say we'll leave it vague, but I got a someone put me in contact with Drew, and we set it up. So I went out to LA for 6 weeks that summer before my senior year, and then the next summer I was there for 2 months, like working out for the draft and stuff.
No way. So,
Yeah,
so,
well, I
so,
didn't get drafted, so don't get too excited.
still, yeah, but still, I mean, like, just the fact that you did it for 2 months, and that you were trying to like try to get that done. I mean, he's coached. I just wrote down, like, I know he's coached Bradley Beal, but I didn't realize he coached or he trained Tatum and Embiid and a bunch of other huge players as well. He's
Yeah, I was in a pickup game with Joel Embiid, Myers Leonard, Jason Tatum, uh, Torian Prince. I think me and Tyus Battle were the only non NBA guys in the game. Tyus Battle is like played at Syracuse, one of the best players in the country last couple of years. So it was very good competition. Yeah, it was really good to get out there and
play against
uh,
those guys.
yeah, exactly.
Who are you most impressed with there out of those guys? Did you anyone you were just like, okay, he's even physically to look at, or like just skill wise? Tatum obviously is
Skill
ridiculous.
wise would be like Tatum. I suppose Embiid physically was just insane.
Yeah,
Just he moved so well for being so massive, basically.
yeah, he kind of
I,
almost has a Lajuan type skills for his size.
in that pickup game I was talking about, he like clashed with Myers Leonard, and he put a bruise in Myers like the size of it for next week. It was unbelievable. But yeah, he was a freak in nature. RJ
Yeah,
Barrett too was there. He was
RJ
another.
Barrett. Yeah,
He was one of the most athletic guys I've ever seen.
yeah, he is. He's done well for New York actually.
Yeah,
Myers Leonard's got a bit more of a role now. I've forgotten where he's moved to. He was at Portland, and then he
he's at
moved to.
Miami.
He's at Miami. That's right. And he's
Yeah, he's playing well.
he's
He's a good guy. He's
yeah.
probably the NBA guy I know the most there. I remember I watched the draft in his house in Venice,
No,
and he was a bit nervous. He thought he was getting traded that day, so he was like walking at the back, and we were like making jokes, but he wasn't finding it as funny.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's his career. I mean, the whole thing is that is the whole thing about it is you just kind of get uprooted and you just have to go with it because like if you've bought a house wherever you're living and then all of a sudden you get or you get traded, you're going somewhere else. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, for sure.
it's changed your life. You know, it's not a trivial thing to them guys, I suppose. Even though at the end of the day they're getting paid millions, so you can't really
Most of
complain.
those guys, most of those guys live in LA in the summer, and they rent like in their cities, or a lot of them do anyway.
And then they go to
So yeah,
runs and train and work out in LA.
yeah. There's a big
Okay.
LA like scene. Drew's definitely made that a big thing too. Um, like working out with me was Taco Fall, who I
Yeah.
assume you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Small
he's
guy.
a good guy.
Garrett.
I used to Taco and I used to go. We got pedicures. So I was staying with my friend Mark Pelosis, who lives in Manhattan Beach.
You got a pedicure with Taco Falls.
Yeah, it's size 22 feet. So Mark Pelosis is a friend of mine who went to Hartford, and he lives in Manhattan Beach. So I was staying with him for 2 months, rent free. Thank you very much, Mark. But so Mark's like, oh, I'm playing beach volleyball. He lives beside the beach with my
Yeah.
boss. I'm like, oh, I'm with Taco. I'll bring him down. So this is like a couple weeks after he played Zion. So he
Right.
brought Taco down, like he was saying hi to everybody, and then we end up getting pedicures, like people taking pictures of him outside the thing. But
Oh
he's a
my.
good guy, doing well in the Celtics in Maine.
He is. He seems like a really nice, kind of pleasant guy. Very
Yeah, he
friendly
is
and
very
stuff.
nice.
Yeah.
I think I saw Avengers with him as
Right.
well,
No,
randomly.
who was it jumped over? Was it Pat Connaughton? Is that right?
Yeah, was it Pat Connaughton who jumped over him?
I think it was Pat Connaughton. I'm trying to
Jeez.
get a hold of him and trying to get him on the podcast because I think he's almost kind of half said he's interested in playing for the national team.
He's a half patty, is he?
Yeah, what do they call it? A plastic patty, is it?
Oh yeah, maybe.
Couldn't call him that, but yeah, no. Like I think he was just interested in playing for the national team, and he'd be an interesting guy to get on because I think he's boys with Giannis. So it'd be interesting to get him on just to chat to him because he said he's interested. But I think the insurance they have to pay half of that themselves to cover the club if they go and play for national teams. So
Okay.
whether he wants to do that is a different story. I know the GB guys used to do that, and then they ended up dropping half of them because they couldn't cover the insurance because the the body, like basketball arm, would have to cover that kind of thing. I think that's how
Oh
it works.
yeah, jeez.
Or the player would have to cover it. And I know GB covered it for like Lowell Dang and people like that.
Yeah,
Pops Mensah Monsu and those guys. I think they had Gordon. What's his name? Another guy from the Bulls. And they couldn't cover it afterward because the insurance was so sky high.
Ben Gordon was it?
Ben Gordon, that's who it was. Yeah, Ben Gordon. So he was playing GB 1 year, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, I might see about trying to get him on, but I can't really get a hold of him at the moment. So that was really interesting then. So yeah, it sounded like you had a really good time in terms of like even working out with Drew Hanlon. Like that's an experience of playing with those NBA guys. That's like
Yeah, and I worked out another guy, Luke Cooper, as well, who's a really good trainer. Um, yeah, it was a good time. It's just I worked out Charles Bassey, went to Western Kentucky. We worked out in front of the Raptors and the Clippers. Um, I didn't work out that well, but he did well. Um, that was the only NBA teams I worked out in front of. I was trying to get more, but it just didn't
so
didn't happen at the
the
time.
Clippers and the Raptors. Is that before they've won the championship with
Let me think. I think it's either like during the finals or just after. I think
Okay,
it's just after.
just after. So this is just after the postseason. It's in the summer. And
Mm.
was it a case if they reached out to you again? Was that just kind of through just contacts that you kind of just went for that, or how does that work?
Yeah, they were coming to the gym like um to see Charles mainly, but Drew put me in the workout as well, just cause.
Yeah.
So and the Clippers were there too as well. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it works as well, right? I mean, like you just if you're in there and you can get worked out as well. And did they
Yeah.
just when they're looking at you like that, they're looking at you individual workouts, with Drew taking you through what you're meant to do, or is it like you know what I mean? Are they taking you through it, or are they just watching?
No, they're just watching. So Drew put us through like a workout, like say mid post rolls to finish, make three each, something like that, pops, and then do set shooting at the end, see how you shoot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting that that's the way they do it. It's not necessarily a great way to see somebody. Well, I could
Well,
be
a lot
wrong.
of times they like if they're serious about a guy, they'll fly them out to
Okay.
Minnesota or something, and they'll work them out themselves. But a lot of times they do their workouts, in LA because a lot of the players are there already.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So I suppose it's a scene, and you kind of have to get into the. It's about getting in front of people, the right people as well, that kind of way.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, that's cool. That's really cool that I mean you had that experience. I mean, like you're up against top guys, so it's always tough like that.
Hmm.
So okay, so you finished up university. It sounded like you had some amazing experiences playing with some really good players, and the Drew Hannon experience, obviously. And
Yeah, but just before we just so I don't gloss over my Hartford, we did do pretty well. We won 19 games my junior year
yeah.
and 18 my senior, which is the winningest I think stretch in Hartford history. So,
Oh, really?
and I had
Okay.
some
Yeah.
great teammates. My teammate George Blagojevich playing in the Australian League. Travis and JR playing Argentina on the same team. Jason Dunn played in Slovakia. So we had 5 pros. So
Really?
we had
Okay.
some serious talent there too. I don't want to leave those guys out.
Yeah. No,
Max
definitely.
Twyman working for Ernest Young, making loads of money.
So this is all.
EY.
These are your teammates. So they're all playing pro, or a lot of them are playing pro now in Europe and
Yeah,
Australia.
Max went pro in something other than sports. I think the NCAA, that's their slogan.
Right. Um, that's really cool. And that's the best record that any team has had from Hartford ever.
Yeah, I think so. I think 19 games is the best D1 anyway.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So obviously you guys all left as seniors then, or some of those guys still there?
Yeah, we had 6 seniors again, so we were in the same position I was my freshman year. We had
Okay.
4 1,000 point scorers. I think that's one of 2 teams in the country to do that. So
Wow.
it's pretty rare. Yeah.
That's incredible. So you guys, did you win the conference then? That's
No,
it.
we lost in my junior year. We lost to UMBC, who ended up beating Virginia. in round one. We lost to that team. We lost in the semis, and then we lost to UMBC again in a double overtime game. We were down 25 at one stage, brought it back.
That's
Just
rough.
ran out. Yeah, that was rough indeed.
Same guys
So
as well.
same guy. Well, a couple of different, but yeah, same team. That was a tough loss. Very tough. Last game of my college career too.
Oh, right. So this is your last game. Okay. And
Yeah.
then obviously, yeah, in that sense, didn't get to go to the tournament because I suppose not everyone does. Um, so, like, obviously, you wouldn't change it for the world. So it sounds like you had an amazing time in
Yeah,
college.
we did some like we played Duke my senior year in Cameron.
I saw the picture of you with. Is that
Yeah, we had them. It was a competitive game for a while. Then it wasn't
it wasn't.
very fast. But
Is
that
it
was an
just
experience. We beat Boston College 2 times in 3 years. Like I think we've beaten a high major school the last 4 years. It's the only team in America East to do that. So Hartford's definitely on the upswing.
on the upswing? Yeah, that's incredible. Well, you guys are gone now, so just the rest of the guys have to take the mantle. But the fact that you've done well, that generally helps them recruit better players as well. Is that kind of the way it works?
Yeah, they were good this year. They made the conference championship and it got cancelled because of Corona. So
All right.
yeah,
So,
first time they made the conference championship in I think 12 years or so. So it
so
was unfortunate.
keep an eye on them. They could
Exactly.
keep moving up. Okay, cool. Um, okay, so then after that bit, then you came out. I think I met you last summer, and you were that's when I
Hmm.
met you actually. We just had a scrimmage um, down at Enna, and you're heading off to play professionally. So I kind of always ask this because I'm always interested to know: did you kind of go talk to anybody about an agent? How did the kind of connection happen with the club? Because you ended up in the Czech Republic basically, right?
Well, I was talking to Drew about it, and Luke Cooper, who I mentioned earlier, he works at Langston Galloway in the NBA, and his agent was Michael Siegel, and I ended up signing with them. And Tim Edwards is my agent's name. So I signed with him, and then he was just like looking for stuff during the summer for me. So he's an American agent because I
Okay,
was trying to get in the G League initially, but
right.
he was good in Europe too, so I was comfortable with him.
Okay, cool. So would you still like to go back to the G League? Because it's one of those ones where the, if you get back into the G League, a guy I played with in Germany ended up going to the G League the year after he played in Germany, and
Hmm.
obviously the idea then is you stand out there and you get whatever you get called up for 10-day contract or whatever it is. Um, would you still have aspirations to maybe try the G League if you could get in?
I mean,
Obviously,
if the G League offered me, I'd go tomorrow. But my point guard in Czech Republic played in the G League,
right?
um, and he played at Indiana before that. He liked it, but he said it's hard to break through, and it's like a lot of it's luck. Like the team you're affiliated with might just need a shooter, and you might be scoring 30 a game, which is hard. But say you are, and they just need a shooter. Another guy
Yeah.
almost at the end of the bench might get called up, and you won't just because he fits the role. So it's sort of like a crapshoot in that way.
Yeah, and
So
that's
I
exactly
would
what I heard. Yeah.
try it out. I would try
Mm.
it out, but you know,
Yeah,
never
no,
be a tough anything.
that's funny you said that because that's literally what the guy told me. He did it for a year, and I think at the time the salary was even lower. It's kind of gone up now. So like
Yeah.
he was on like 30K, 28K or something like that. So it was super low, and it was like pretty much across the board. I think that was like 28K.
Hmm.
So you're kind of in there for the development, arguably the development, but also for the opportunity to go and potentially get called up to a team. But he said very much like that. Um, if they had a spot that someone could get called up, and you do see guys coming through, and I think they're looking to make it more like a league that they're actually going to have guys younger players who they have to put in for a year and develop them. So
Yeah, like baseball, sort of. I've heard that. I don't know if it will happen. Maybe. I mean, a lot of these guys are going. They're sort of in that select team that they're doing for the G League. I don't know how that's going to work. But yeah, it would be good if they could do that and they could raise the salaries.
I think so
But
because people would like be more interested in playing in it if there's because the salary drop is ridiculous. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's not even comparable to the NBA, obviously.
yeah, I think now they've kind of gone for like I could be wrong again, but like somewhere around the 70, 80K mark as
Well,
like
it
a
depends. If
base.
you're on a two-way, I think you'd be around that. But I think the base salary is like 35K
Oh,
for
still
like
low,
your.
still low.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty low.
it's very low. I mean, you're better off playing in Europe in that sense because you're going to get.
Especially the American taxes and all that
Yeah,
jazz.
exactly. Yeah. Whereas in Europe, you don't get the tax. Um,
Mm.
so how was your year then in the Czech Republic? You kind of
Well,
turned.
I left because I did preseason and all that there, and then
Okay.
I played 3 games and then I dislocated my finger.
Oh, shit, look at me.
So and then we decided to part ways because I was going to be out for a month and they needed players going to be healthy. So
Okay.
I negotiated a release of my contract, and then almost a month later, I went to Spain. Marine played lead gold, and then I was there for about a month as well. But I was having issues with my knee. I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So I had to leave there, and I got surgery on my knee. So I haven't been playing for the last 5 months just because I've
So,
been covering rehabbing
so you've
stuff.
been rehabbing. Was
Yeah.
it the same knee that you injured in
Yeah,
America?
it was the same knee, but it different. Like it was just sort of a wear and tear type cartilage damage.
Okay.
Not that serious, but it was giving me a lot of bother. So
Yeah.
I couldn't even like jump off my right and stuff. It was a bit of an
All
issue,
right.
so I had to
Okay. Right.
take care of it.
What do you think of the? Because I don't really know. I know lead gold is a very good level, but I don't know much about the Czech league. What's that
Lab
like?
Gold's better than the Czech,
Right. That's what I thought.
but the Czech's good. Czech's like physical. It's running up and down, and decent shooters, but like they don't have great ball handling sort of thing. Like they don't have good foot. Like I could go by a guy easily off the dribble. It's probably not a great sign for the league. I mean, like
Yeah. Right.
it's a decent league. It's physical up and like in a straight line, but side to side dribbling not fantastic. Like our point guard, Kirk was a size all the time. Like he was killing people.
Right. Okay. Yeah. There's.
All there in that way. But
Okay.
Lev Gold was crazy, very good.
Yeah. And was that one you'd potentially like to go back to, like the lead gold league?
Yeah, definitely. I love to go. It was every possession is like do or die, like crazy intensity level. The fans
Right.
are crazy.
Right.
Just sprinting off screens. Like it's just really high level. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it has to be a top 10 league in Europe. Like even
Oh
though it's
yeah.
second division.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah. The ACB is basically like NBA. It's similar level. A lot of NBA type caliber players. And yeah, the lead gold is right up there. I mean, you're probably.
So yeah.
Did they have like feeder teams into the ACB in lead gold?
They may have. I'm not sure. But we played like the best Lev Gold team. I forget the name, but they had a guy named Xavi Ray, and he came from Milan, like Milan in the EuroLeague, and he went to this team. So that's how good they were. He's a 7-footer. He played for Spain, like, and I remember I was guarding him in the post, and like he turned, elbowed me in the nose, like my nose is bleeding, and I got a foul somehow, and the crowd was just going nuts. Like the crowd liked me a lot. I wasn't even playing well. I played really hard defense, and I was Irish, and I was in Galicia, and they're all Celtic, so they
Right. So,
felt
yeah.
some sort of connection to me, and we went absolutely crazy.
That's
Yeah,
bad.
so that was funny, and like some big 7-footer elbowed me in the nose. Like,
Is that where your club was, Galicia?
yeah,
It's gorgeous.
rained every day.
Yeah, because
I don't know. I didn't see it. There was
green
just
crown.
fog, so I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, yeah. I went over in the summer just then. Yeah, Galicia is really nice, and you're right. It has that kind of Celtic connection. I think there's Apparently, some Vikings landed there.
Hmm.
That's just It's funny when you say the 7-footers because like obviously you get that in college, but these are fully grown men, and you're like what 22, 23?
25.
Oh, you're 25. Okay, you're a bit older,
Hmm.
but still, so some of these guys are like maybe into their 30s. They're fully grown men,
Yeah.
and you're dealing with these guys, and also they have experience playing at a professional level. And guys who play pro for a few years, you can tell they play pro. They just have these they just know how to get it done. They know how to play. So you're playing against those guys. The fact that you played at a high level in college probably helps a lot. But
Hmm.
it's just interesting when you get to that level, everyone's a grown man, and the physicality is almost a different level in a way.
Yeah, no,
I don't
it
know
was
if you felt like
definitely like he was a big guy. Like they were all sort of like that. The physicality is a lot different. Even in the Czech, like there was a lot of physicality too.
yeah, yeah. That's the one thing I noticed. I was like, it's crazy. Just the and everybody's tall and like probably at 6'8". What you playing the four then? There,
Yeah, I was playing the four, sometimes five when we were going small.
that's tough. I
Yeah.
remember, I remember, I played in Germany, and this is when I knew I was totally out of my depth. I'm 6'6", right, and I'm playing
Hmm.
the four, and we
Yeah.
played the top team. It was a local derby, and I got switched on to their 7-footer, and I turned around. The other guy was 6'10". I was already undersized marking him, and then I switched on to 7-footer because
Yeah.
whatever happened, he rolled, and I had to switch on to him. And I just pushed against him as hard as I could. I was literally pushing against him, and he just. And then it was like sub time and that's when I realized I was in trouble. I was like, I can't play at a high professional level. It's very hard to play at 6'6" in the four position, but 6'8" you can get away with it. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, Drew said that to me. I remember at the end of that pickup game, he was like, because we were talking about me playing the five in college,
yeah,
and he said to me like, "Do you see what Myers and Bede were like today? It's like that's what a five in the NBA looks. We turn you into a three. You're not a five at that level. You know?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So
Yeah,
that
and
was an
yeah,
education.
yeah. Well, yeah, just from seeing you play, you can shoot. So I mean that helps a lot. You can stretch the floor and bring bigger guys out, which is probably where your advantage is. But that's really cool. Okay, I'm just aware of your time here. I know you have something at 10, so um I'm gonna ask you some. I don't know why, but I just always randomly ask you the questions at the end.
No worries.
So I've got some Twitter ones. I read your Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, there's some interesting comments on Twitter." So, you had something around MJ. You said turned out to be very prophetic. MJ retirement, the league changed, and then I was wondering what you meant by that when he retired. The league changed, and did you mean by that like that people are just chasing rings now after Jordan retired? Is that I was trying to figure out what you meant. Do you remember this
Wait.
tweet?
Yeah. Say it to me again. I missed it. What was my first part?
You said this turned out to be very prophetic. MJ's retirement. After the MJ's retirement, the league changed.
Yeah,
So
I feel like the NBA is sort of just like you go somewhere for a couple of years, you try and win, and then you're like, all right, let's go somewhere else and try and do it again. And then also,
yeah,
like those teams, like Stockton Malone, were there all the time. Uh, Hakeem played in Houston his whole meaningful career.
yeah,
I know Charles changed teams, but he like that Suns team was a fixture. The Supersonics were like with those two guys. Like I feel like New York obviously was like you knew what you were getting from those teams for at
yeah.
least like 6-7 years. It's like now what team's been together 6 or 7 years? Like I guess is Golden State the longest tenured team together with their core?
Yeah,
They've been
that's
together
true.
like 5 years. It's weird.
San Antonio are pretty good at it too. Generally, that's another
San
team that
Antonio have
tends.
nobody that's of the original. I mean, they
Not
had it for
anymore.
ages.
They had it for
Yeah, yeah,
ages.
they had
Yeah,
it for. But like, I just felt like it was almost like it was like a TV show, and you knew the cast characters back then, and
that's
then
right. Yeah,
now it's like it's changed, and I think it's changed for the worse, to be honest. And
I
something
agree.
that they don't talk about now is like basketball was bigger than football, American football then. ratings wise, and that's
Really?
definitely Jordan. It's like sort of the Tiger Woods effect where you lose 50% of viewership when he's not playing. Seems like the NBA lost the viewership because NFL has definitely taken over the
It's
NBA.
interesting. And you could be right there because like the loyalty of the fans is gonna diminish,
Fickle.
arguably gonna diminish if you don't have the same guys there. If you're just changing the lineup all the time,
Hmm.
well, this is the kind of a classic example, and the ultimate example was the Raptors. They got I just forgot his name now.
Kawhi.
Kawhi in for 1 year. They win a championship, and he just leaves. I'm like,
I know.
why would you leave? You've got a great team there. That's a proper team because they move the ball and they play defense. And then he just left. He just took it and left. So
I think I heard he is getting absolutely destroyed on taxes, so I can sympathize with that a little bit. But
I don't know. That's yeah. I
no,
suppose.
I know, I know. I'm messing, but like I can't believe he left either. Like I was dumbfounded, but I think he was
Yeah.
just on loan. I think that was sort of a known thing.
Right. Yeah. He just could go in there for a year. I'm not a fan of it. Like, and LeBron. I won't say LeBron started it, but he was definitely one of the guys who did that. Left
Yeah,
Cleveland, and then went back and won a championship. Even though it was good to see him in Miami with his mates in a way.
yeah, good for
Yeah,
him, I suppose.
good for him. Yeah, good for him. Good for Miami. Oh yeah, this is the second tweet. This has got three of them here. So, you're like, why? What did I tweet? Coup coach, third
No,
best
no,
player, not Rodman.
I like that one.
Explain.
I got a little heat for that randomly.
Yeah.
Rodman seemed like he was washed. I don't know. He seemed like he was just like uh, he definitely didn't move well like he did in Detroit. He literally only rebounded. If I only rebounded in the NBA and played 30 minutes, I would get 10 rebounds. If all
Yeah.
I did was rebound, but he
But
got 20 or whatever, so he's better. But like, it's just he didn't really do a whole lot, and he was bringing like a lot of baggage, and he was done after that season. Like he had nothing left. And
yeah,
Kukoc hit a lot of threes. Like I thought Kukoc was really good, and he was a terrible defender, but like
yeah.
he was a good player.
He was a really talented player. Funny, weirdly went back and watched one of his games when America played Croatia in I think it was the finals. I want to say the finals of the European. No, it can't be European. So the World Championships. I don't know.
92, maybe.
It could have been. And he was really skinny and he was really young. He was kind of just coming onto the scene in Europe. And you
Mm-hmm.
could see the talent there, but they actually, they covered it in the documentary. Yeah, they basically, Michael Jordan had him up because they heard he was coming to the Bulls. And he did have a
Yeah,
terrible game in that game. And,
I
but
think his
obviously,
second game he was good.
second game he's good. I didn't watch the
Yeah.
second game. And then they showed it in the documentary and I just watched it. So it was interesting. But I thought super talented, super skilled, and also 6'10", lefty, awkward. So there
Mm-hmm.
was a lot there. But I I think in
Like
terms of
Horace Grant's better than Dennis Rodman
yeah. No, look, I'm not saying they're not better
at the
basketball players,
times.
but maybe it's just two different things. Maybe what you said is right. He's a better player, but how valuable was he to the team versus Rodman? Rodman was very valuable because he had that toughness. Like he's resting
Yeah, no,
Carmelo and
that's
taking him
true.
out of their game. And defensively, like if you're just looking at offense, then the skill is there. Whereas if you're looking at the both sides of the floor, Rodman's getting offensive boards. He's battling guys, making guys tired, doing all the kind of intangible, dirty work. He's
Mm-hmm.
he's that guy, and you need that guy really to
No, I
balance the
know
team out.
it's
It's
true,
tough.
but like
It's tough.
it's yeah. Like Kukoc hit some huge shots against the Pacers. I think he had 30 points game 6, 98.
And to
Like
watch that, I don't remember that.
yeah,
Yeah, there was that one shot he hit where Scotty was peeved off. It was actually the year Jordan was
yeah,
out, right? I forgot about that. And he didn't get up off the bench, which was hilarious.
yeah. That was
but,
crazy. I couldn't
but,
believe that.
but understand, I don't think, I've often felt like, maybe I feel like I should be taking the shot here because you're having a good game or, there's a main
Mm-hmm.
guy, but you would never sit down and knock it on the.
Yeah, it was a ballsy move.
Wasn't it? To do it in such a big stage as well. Yeah,
I know.
I don't know. That kind of, he said it was out of character. So anyway, okay, well, that's fair. I've actually changed my opinion. I think you're possibly right that Kukoc probably was the third most.
Puff Summers absolutely went off on me for that one.
I see it's valued.
Big stats guy.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. He's the best player wise. He's a better basketball player than Rodman, but
Yeah,
is he more
that's what I was
valuable?
saying.
Yeah, but that's in a tweet. You only have a few lines, so you can't really
I
go
know.
off.
Yeah, it's like I can't. It's not my dissertation.
Yeah, exactly.
And on
You
the
don't need
third
to
decade of
have
the Bulls, late '90s.
yeah, yeah. Empirical evidence. That's what he was looking for. No, I think you're actually right. Kukoc is a better player. Rodman's maybe was more valuable actually in the sense that like
Yeah.
he was very valuable in terms of what he did. Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, final one. Oh, you said yeah. This was the one I was wanting to get. You said I've got. I think you said something like I've gone away from my foam rolling of late, and then I was like, "Is there something I don't know about foam rollers? Like you shouldn't be using them?" So I just wanted to ask you what you meant by that.
No, I think it was in response to who was it in response to again?
I don't remember who you did.
I
You?
forget.
I was surprised anyway because I thought foam rolling was pretty
No,
accepted.
I just think it's really overrated, to be honest.
All right,
It
okay.
doesn't really help that much. I think stretching is much better. That wasn't one of my. I'm not gonna die on that hill necessarily, but I was refreshed to see someone else who's not on
The foam roll.
the foam rolling thing.
You feel
Matt
like
Kelly,
it's
that
a
was
it's a
Matt Kelly.
fad,
Sorry
Matt
for
Kelly.
forgetting.
So you feel like it's like almost like faddy, like as in like everyone's got a foam roller now and everyone's foam rolling it.
Yeah, I think it's sort of one of those things. It's like people are trying to, you know, if you stretch for 20 minutes, you're better off than foam rolling. I think,
Yeah,
but I could be wrong.
that's fair points. I think there's always be a place for stretching and dynamic stretching. I think the only thing for me was with the foam roller. I remember being, like in a place like Germany where we had a physio on the team, and then the
Hmm.
guys would be just getting rubbed down, and I thought they were taking the piss to be honest with you, but they would just get rubbed down all the time, and
Hmm.
I was like, cool. And then the foam rollers came out, which kind of meant that you didn't have to have a physio there, especially, at a certain level, you don't have physios. So, I mean, I think for that
Yeah,
point of view, just to get into your muscles and to get up the lactic
yeah,
acid.
it's good in that way, but it's no be
No,
all and end all.
it's no replacement for stretching. No, it's no
Hmm.
replacement for stretching. And you have these guns now, these,
Yeah, oh yeah,
whatever they're called.
and everyone's entering competitions to win this stuff. That's really that's one of my big pet peeves.
Pet
Sharing
peeves.
that stuff on your story
Oh, jeez.
to win gym equipment or something. It's like it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah.
very
Do people do
cringe.
that? That is cringe. I'll agree with you on
Just
that one.
all my Instagram feed is that.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't be a fan of doing anything on social media that's trying to sell anything. I'm like, no interest. Pet peeve. Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Hmm.
Come here, John. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate you're on in half an hour, but
Yeah,
that was
thank you.
amazing.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your story and going into so much detail and stuff. So hopefully we'll be back on the court for next year. Like that's the plan. To be happy.
Yeah, hopefully.
And yeah, come back and then just let us know how you're getting on after next year.
Gotcha. Thanks.
All
Man.
right, buddy. Cheers. Take it easy.